Hello, my name is Saanvi Jain,
And I'm Vania Castro.
and we are 10th graders from Milpitas High School, and today we're going to present to you Project Reintegrate. We would like the judges to represent the roles of investors and social entrepreneurs, and we're going to present a STEM solution to you.
Problem definition. So, poverty is still an issue that has been affecting people all over the world, but in the Bay Area alone, 1.5 million residents still live in poverty. And specifically, the number of homeless people in the Santa Clara County was 9,706 in 2019, according to a census. And in San Jose, the overall homeless count was 6,172 people. And the image on the right just shows the kind of conditions they're exposed to. It's unsafe, it's unsanitary, it doesn't offer a lot of protection from heat, cold, and even other people. And this could lead them to commit crime, which would produce a spike in crime rate. And so our solution for that is we decided to make buses into homes. So our short-term goal is to convert one bus into a living shelter for 8 people. Our long-term goal is to convert 15 buses into living shelters for at least 120 people. And the reason we're not going with RVs or motorhomes is because their price range is from $10,000 to $430,000, depending on the type and model, which is expensive. And standard motorhomes only hold 4 to 5 people, and RVs are usually just meant for recreational use and not for long-time living. So the concept that we wanted to go for is shown on the image on the right. It is the bus home concept from Buses for Shelter, and we pulled this from the Buses for Homeless website. They have already done these bus home projects in London, and because they were able to do it there, we thought, why not do it here too? So our influence goal. We are asking for $25,000 to convert our concept into a prototype with professional help and create one bus shelter.
So as we said, our concept is from the Buses for Homeless, and so we are kind of taking inspiration from them, and what they do is they have different buses for different causes. Right now, we're focusing on their shelter bus, which is Buses for Shelter, but they also have a buses for dining and a buses for wellness. And eventually, we would like to kind of expand into this if we can make the Buses for Shelter successful.
Mm-hmm. So for our prototype, we made something similar. So the top, on the left image, the top 2 beds are bunk beds, and that's what we plan to do to be able to fit 8 people into one bus. But the bottom 2 beds are just singular beds, just to give you a visualization of that. And in the center, there's like a sofa, which we just use to represent um, a living space for the families who are going to be living there, or if they want to have some sort of division between their shelters, then that could happen too. And on the right, the image on the right, we just gave you another angle of that. And for the school bus dimensions that we're going to use, our length is 540 inches. The width is 102 inches, and the height is 126 inches.
So
And
just a warning, we're actually this is kind of just like our basic idea. If we actually get to do this idea, then we would have a professional interior designer actually create the space. So it's like it makes more sense.
yeah.
Our financial model. So our bus unit price would be an estimated $7,000 for a used bus. And our furniture would be an estimated $5,000, including all the tables, chairs, beds, everything like that. Our labor, including the contractors and workers, such as the interior designer, the manual labor workers, everything would be an estimated $4,500. And our legality, such as getting it approved by the city and all that, would be an estimated $5,000. So in total, our manufacturing cost would be an estimated $22,000, and we would sell it for an estimated $27,000 to a city. And so our profit margin would be about 18.5%. So our kind of steps are shown in this flow chart. So first, we are going to acquire a bus. We've already issued an inquiry to VTA. This step should take about 2 to 3 weeks, but because of Corona, it might take longer. Our second step is legality and certification. So you kind of have to get approval for the building and where we want to place the bus and everything from the city, and that would take 3 to 4 months. Hiring contractors and completing the professional designs would take 3 to 4 weeks. Our complete bus conversion would take 1 to 2 months, and then for us to sell to a city, we're expecting it to be San Jose right now, it would be 2 to 3 weeks, including all the paperwork and finalization.
Competition analysis. So in this project, our competitors are affordable housing builders, but that costs about $23,000 to $30,000 without any furniture. And this only holds one family or 2 to 3 people max. And with them, we can partner up, and this is to have supplies and contractors. And we expect that partnering up with them could also lead to more success and help this project be known to more people. So again, we are asking for $25,000 for our affordable housing and buses project.
Thank you. Any questions?
Hi, this is Steve. I have a question. So is the idea that the buses remain operable, or are you just using them for the structure to build the home?
So we're just using them for the structure to build the home. Well, we would assume they'd be towed to the place that we want them to be in, because we wouldn't expect them to be moving a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Two quick questions. The cost estimate on $7,000. Just wanted to know if there's some support for that, and then also what are you thinking about for access to water or bathroom facilities?
So our plan is this is kind of like our first stage to our whole project, which is like creating like a whole kind of area. But right now we're planning on putting it in like an existing homeless like shelter, which usually they're just tents in a place with a bathroom. So that already exists. We're just kind of, we're just kind of making their like actual shelter part of it better.
Mm.
Right. So just a quick follow up. There's no really, so heating, cooling is not part of the deal, right? So this is just where it's just truly a replacement for basically tents. Is that accurate?
Just kind of making their shelter better. And,
I see.
Yeah.
Did you think about shipping containers compared to using buses for the structure?
Shipping containers?
Yeah,
Right.
I was just going to ask. Yeah. I do think the shipping containers will be more expensive though, Mark. I was just about to ask the same question. And even the one on bathrooms, right? They can retrofit an entire bus to serve as bathrooms. But shipping containers will be much more expensive if they're using used buses to begin with. So the goal I think here is to provide shelter and cover, right? So protection from bad weather, rain, snow, ice, whatever it is that's or extreme heat. I think that would be the biggest thing. There is a challenge, I think, with putting a lot more people into a single small space, though, which is kind of friction between people. As you know, there are a lot of issues with with the homeless, to no fault of theirs at times. There are mental health issues. There are also drug issues. Is there any process to, who would get access, especially if you were to do this one bus to start? If you were to go to a heavily populated place and just put one bus for a hand-selected group of 8 people, that would cause an even bigger challenge. Any thoughts on how you would address some of those challenges?
Maybe kind of some sort of like, I don't know, interview maybe, like kind of to see where their mind is at and kind of look at like if they're compatible with other people, to kind of see if they can live with other people, kind of.
Yeah, well, one thought I had around that would be around families, like already people who know each other in families, whether they're 2 families or 1 family. But I thought that was right along those lines you're talking about, Saanvi.
And last question, how does your cost compare to the ones that were done in, you said London, is that correct?
London.
Yeah. So their costs are more, they're kind of, they make more bulk like things, so their costs are slightly less, but since we're kind of focusing on making one, our costs are kind of higher to start off with. But if we can kind of get this project going, it would be probably like as cheap as them.